You're listening to Bark and Wag's 15-Minute Vet Talk. Each week, your host, Polly Requa, interviews veterinarians and individuals in the pet industry from across the nation answering pet questions. Bark and Wag podcast is produced weekly for your enjoyment, and show notes can be found at barkandwag.com under the podcast tab. That's BARKNWAG.com. Please remember to subscribe to Bark and Wag 15-Minute Vet Talk.
Thank you for listening to Bark and Wag 15-Minute Vet Talk. Bark and Wag is dedicated to protecting our dogs through advocacy, education, and supporting like-minded dog lovers by selling custom pet products. Saving lives by selling collars, scrunchies, and swag. Please check out Bark and Wag's website, barkandwag.com. That's BARKNWAG.com to see the awesome merchandise. Bark and Wag collars and leashes, collar covers, and decorative bandanas are perfect for your pooch. For the owner of the house, we have t-shirts, sweatshirts, long sleeve shirts, hats, and even coasters. We are expanding monthly, so be sure to check back. We love pooch ideas for podcasts and merchandise too, so send an email to polly@barkandwag.com with your suggestions.
Welcome to Bark and Wag 15-Minute Vet Talk. I'm your host, Polly Requa. Today we're talking to Cindy Myers, animal listener and intuitive coach. Welcome, Cindy.
Hi, Polly.
Well, it was so interesting talking to you a few weeks ago regarding your seminars and webinars that you're having in April. I wanted to have you back because I just love your stories. And I wanted to see if you had any fun stories for the listeners, especially being an animal intuitive. You never know what's going to come from your pet's mind.
No, they can be quite amusing at times. And I love working with different species. I mean, most of my clients are dogs and cats, but every so often I get to work or have an opportunity to communicate or work with different species. And one time I was actually at a marine park, and they had a pool of turtles, sea turtles. And I was just standing there, and I noticed this one, as it swam by, had the most beautiful markings under the fin. It had beautiful markings on the shell, on the outer part where you see it swimming normally. But as it swam by, I just got a quick glimpse of these markings that were under its fin, and I really wanted to see it again. So I reached out to this turtle intuitively, and I asked if it would swim by me one more time and show me how beautiful its underarm was.
Yeah, a belly.
Yep, in the belly. And so as it swam by me, it lifted its fin straight out of the water.
Oh, really?
Hand up, to ask a question. Its fin came way out of the water, just as if it was asking a question from the teacher as it swam by me. And then it put its fin down and swam, and it swam around in the pool again and came around me and lifted its fin straight up in the air to show me its underarm again, and then put it down. It did that at least 6 or 7 times. Every time.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
And I just got such a kick out of it. And finally I went, you don't have to keep doing that. Thank you. And I thanked it for showing me how beautiful its markings were.
Were you able to get a picture?
No, I was enjoying it too much. I forgot to take my camera out.
Well, that's a riot that you were able to communicate with a sea turtle.
Yes.
What other, have you communicated with any other unique animals?
I'll tell you the most bizarre animal thus far that I've communicated with is a tarantula.
No.
Yeah, it was very interesting because, it was a pet tarantula, and the person wanted to know kind of if it was happy. And it doesn't have quite that complex of emotional state as that, but it indicated that it liked the tactile feel of its environment, the enclosure that they had it living in. But what it showed me when I was tapped into it, they have 8 eyes, so it looked like I was looking through a kaleidoscope.
Oh, interesting.
It was really trippy. And I have to admit, I'm not a huge fan of spiders, so I had to get out of it because I was getting a little wigged out.
Yeah.
but it was very trippy.
It just kind of let you know that it felt safe and was at home?
The feel of whatever, like it probably was, I believe it was like in a terrarium kind of a setting. And they had like a log or something for it to climb on, and whatever it had inside, it liked the feel of it. It must have felt good on its legs and body.
Oh, that's a riot. I don't think I could do that. Like if you had to hold a snake, I don't think that would be up my alley at all.
No, not mine either. But at a distance, it's fine.
Yeah, exactly. So just out of curiosity, when you go to a zoo, can you read what the animals are saying or?
Yes.
No? Oh, you can?
Yes. Raptor Center, any of those. Yep.
Wow. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to have you back and talk more about your animal stories because they certainly are a riot and interesting.
I'd love to share them. Their animals are not only amusing at times, but they're actually great teachers. There's been many life lessons by communicating with them as well.
Well, thank you again, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, Polly. Thanks for inviting me.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Bark and Wag's 15-Minute Vet Talk. If you like what you just heard, we hope you'll pass along our web address, www.barkandwag.com, to your friends and other pet owners. Have a pressing question for a veterinarian? Ask your question at barkandwag.com under the podcast tab. This has been a KFR production. Join us next time for another edition of Bark and Wag's 15-Minute Vet Talk.